All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dale Moeller, Assistant Professor of History, Director of Honors Program here at Northwood University. I'd like to thank you all for joining us, whether here in Griswold in person or via the live stream. Today, Northwood is hosting the first annual Undergraduate Research and Scholarly Activities Symposium. Undergraduate students engage in many thoughtful and creative research projects during their time here at Northwood University. Common forms of research and scholarly activity we often see can include community projects, capstone projects, and research papers. This symposium provides us an opportunity for students to share their research outside of the classroom, and it allows the Northwood community and the larger community to celebrate some of those scholarly contributions that our undergraduates are making. To introduce our first presenter, please join me in welcoming Dr. Chelsea Butcher and Dr. Kristen Griman.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are both delighted to introduce you to Ms. Tegan O'Brien. Her journey at Northwood has been one of remarkable achievement, driven by her unwavering dedication to and passion for sustainability. Tegan is a management major, minoring in sustainability management, making her uniquely qualified to talk to you today about recycling at Northwood. She not only excels academically, but it has also been an active member of the campus and greater Midland communities. Tegan is a sales associate and marketing assistant at Northwood alumni-owned Phil, Midland Zero Waste Shop and Refillery.
During her time at Northwood, she has been a member of Mock Trial, DECA, the Signature Events team, and was nominated by her peers to be president of the Students for Sustainability RSO, which just won RSO of the Year. Today, Tegan will be presenting on the social, environmental, and economic sustainability of the Northwood University student-run recycling program. In her role as coordinator, she has demonstrated exceptional leadership skills and a deep commitment to Northwood University and its sustainability initiatives. So please join us in welcoming Tegan to the podium.
Well, thank you guys both so much. Like they mentioned, my name is Tegan O'Brien, and I am a management major and a sustainability minor, and I'm a senior here at Northwood. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about the Northwood University Recycling Program, titled Green is the New Blue. I don't know why it kind of messed up in formatting there, but we'll move forward with that. So before I get started, I wanted to tell just a little bit about myself. Like they mentioned, I am the University Recycling Coordinator. And so what that means is I work to collect, sort, and report out on all of the recycling collected from across campus. So when you see someone riding around on a golf cart filled with bags of recycling and cardboard, it's me. Have a little wave. And so now our recycling program was created in order to solve the problem of excessive waste on campus and increase overall campus sustainability. And now, before we can break down the specifics of our program, we must first take a look at sustainability as a whole and its importance and impact on the world around us, not just our campus, but our community and our planet. Now, when talking about sustainability, the first thing that often comes to mind is helping the environment. Now, although this is a major component of sustainability, it is not the only part of this concept as a whole. True sustainability lies in the balance of three concepts: the people, the planet, and profit. Now, this balance is referred to as the triple bottom line, where the people, planet, and profit can each benefit in each of these sectors in harmony in order to create long-lasting, effective results that will make the world a better place. Now, that is where true sustainability lies and lives. Now, as a senior here at Northwood, we are taught about our university's goals and ethical guidelines. And for right now, I really want to focus on our code of ethics, otherwise known as Fresh Air. Now, Fresh Air stands for freedom, respect, empathy, spirituality, honesty, achievement, integrity, and responsibility. Now, in those concepts, I really want to focus on three that stand out that are the most applicable to our discussion today about sustainability. And from those, I've chosen out respect, empathy, and responsibility. Now, the development of these attributes allows for student-led programs like Green is the New Blue to exist on our campus, especially regarding personal responsibility. Through personal responsibility, we can see results happening all across our campus through our student-led initiatives, sparking long-term thinking, as well as overall increase in awareness. Now, when thinking about campus sustainability, I like to break it down into two separate sectors: environmental responsibility, as well as community engagement. Now, Northwood University's commitment to sustainability reflects a dedication in reducing its environmental impact, as well as promoting eco-conscious practice in our community. And when talking about community engagement, by embracing sustainability, Northwood University helps to set an example for the Midland community, inspiring others to adopt eco-friendly practices while increasing our sense of community on campus and in Midland. And taking a look at student-led initiatives and innovation. Now, student organizations emerging on our campus, such as the Students for Sustainability Club, which I am proud to say that I am the president of, and initiatives that drive awareness, advocacy, and hands-on involvement in campus sustainability are something that is very important to the overall thriving of our campus. Now, innovative projects showcasing the talents, the projects, and the research endeavors that are focused on sustainable practices, waste reduction, and overall environmental impact are something that are so critical in the development of our sustainability. Now, looking at entrepreneurial ventures, encouraging our students to further look into entrepreneurship in the sustainability sector helps to foster the development of eco-friendly products and services within our campus community and within our world. It's a growing industry. It's something that's coming up in all lines of our businesses as a whole. So we want to see this development and see how we can learn and engage with it. So two entrepreneurial ventures that I hold really close to my heart because they are locally made and locally established are Trex Recycled Decking, as well as Pure Premium Cat Litter. Now, recycling opens up the door to a wide variety of new opportunities in all markets. So the Trex company takes on recycled bags, like plastic bags, like Meyer bags, Ziploc bags, and other things of the sort, and transforms them into durable composite decking material. Now, Trex works with recycling plants in local communities, such as the Midland Recyclers, in order to obtain their materials that otherwise would have ended up in a landfill, and transforming them into an innovative product and making profit over materials that would have ended in landfill, increasing their life cycle. Now, each board that is made of this composite decking contains 2,250 plastic bags. That's a lot of plastic bags that are getting saved from landfill. And now another great example of this innovation is through Pure Premium Cat Litter, which is made by Novak Applied Technologies in collaboration with the Midland Recyclers. Now, this kitty litter is made from 100% recycled glass. And so this is something that is infinitely washable and reusable. And I know it sounds strange to have a washable and reusable kitty litter, but it's something that takes a material that otherwise would have gone to landfill and transforms it into something that is not only accessible through many of the stores, especially in Phil and different places in downtown Midland, but it makes it accessible and cheap that helps develop that sense of sustainability through a bunch of different sectors. And so the process is simple to make this kitty litter. They break down glass into a soft material that is similar to beach sand. And so this company has recycled 57,000 pounds of glass from Midland County just in 2023 alone. Imagine how much more that they can go on as time goes on. Now, taking a look at the Northwood Recycling Program and our project timeline. Now, this started as a class project in 2020. From the prompt, how can we make a successful recycling program for our university? Now, that is where Green is the New Blue got started. It was put off due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but was then restarted by a student-led initiative in 2022 by Lex Rutledge. Now, we were able to keep the project in the Northwood family by utilizing services from Northwood alumni John Perot, an individual who was part of the winning pitch competition in 2020, who has been able to print our beautiful signs and labels for our bins that we have across campus. Now, where we are currently, I am the current university recycling coordinator. We have 33 bins spanning across our campus. I'm going around weekly and picking up and sorting this recycling. And so far, just this year, we have recycled 7,872.3 pounds of recyclable material that has been diverted from landfill. Thank you. Now that's just from me in collaboration with the physical plant. What can we do if we increase this program? So where this program is going, we hope to increase our outreach and recruit more people into this program. That way we can make these bins more accessible, place them in more areas, and make it a larger program. We want to expand out into programs such as composting, more student involvement, and also eventually connect with some of these entrepreneurial ventures that I talked about earlier. So now this is what we're all here to talk about, the financial breakdown. Are we making or are we losing money from the recycling? Now, when taking a look at our recycling costs, we carefully analyzed different recycling plants in the area and found that GFL was our best option. So we have to consider the economic impact of this program in order for it to be truly sustainable. It is true that if done incorrectly, a recycling program can be costly. And I'm happy to say that with the application of strategic planning skills that have been taught through the variety of classes I've taken in my Northwood curriculum, that our program is actually saving the university money. The program was started with a grant awarded to us in 2019 from the Dow Foundation. And with careful fund allocation, we are still utilizing these funds to this day. The bins that we have placed across campus are actually upcycled. And so we were able to divert these from landfill as well. Tom Pastors, one of the brilliant minds behind our program, was able to obtain these bins from the city of Midland as they were planning to dispose of them. And each of these bins normally would have cost us $62 each. Now, from the 45 bins that we have, that's saving nearly $3,000 from our program that we were able to give to our program for free. And now we decided that GFL was our provider that we are going to go with when doing careful economic establishment and assessment. So these statistics were taken directly from GFL in collaboration with the physical plant. By having a 30-yard recycling collection bin that is dumped monthly, we are saving close to $540 over the course of 4 months in comparison to having this material taken to landfill. So taking a look at the recycling program benefits and impact on the community and on our university. Sustainability education through waste reduction has significantly increased across campus. There's been an increase in community building, especially through the groups such as Students for Sustainability, and it shows the students the importance of supporting the environment and other entrepreneurial adventures. And so measuring success. Our efforts have yielded impressive results over time. So just this year, we have diverted close to 8,000 pounds of recyclable materials just since August. And beyond numbers, our program has sparked a shift in our campus culture, increasing awareness and participation in the recycling efforts. And so we can see this improvement by looking at our numbers from 2022 to 2023 to 2023 to 2024. Now, last year when this program was getting started, in 2022, we recycled 3,820.29 pounds diverted from landfill. Then this year, again, we diverted 7,872 pounds. That's almost doubled in the span of 1 year. Imagine what we could do if we could keep expanding this program. So in true Northwood University style, I had to do some market research and talk to some people across campus to see how they feel about this recycling program. Now, of the students polled, 4 out of 5 students believe that recycling is a necessity, not just a want, but a need to have on our campus. 83% of Northwood students recycle as much as they possibly can. 60% of Northwood students want to learn more about recycling. They want these resources. They want to be able to learn this. And 100% of the students that I have asked have said that they have at least used the recycling bins on campus one time. It's not about being perfect. It's about improvement. And that is something that we are seeing across our campus. And so we can see this, that sustainability is not just a want. It is a necessity. And we are growing the impact of sustainably minded students by having our campus and in our community. Just a few weeks ago in this very room, Students for Sustainability, which I am honored to be the president of, won Outstanding Student Organization for our efforts to better this campus and this community. We are also generously awarded $10,000 after being named the Spring Project 100 recipient for the Northwood Garden Center. an initiative built to add more green spaces to our campus and increase the sustainability education through student activities. So these are some waste reduction strategies that we have employed to help make this community a little bit more sustainable. Through the encouraging of reusable items on campus, through the water bottle refilling stations, implementing a reduce and reuse mindset, as well as exploring alternatives to single-use plastics on campus. Now, what are some benefits to the university? So having this recycling program present enhances the corporate social responsibility of our campus. This is something that we're taught in our classes is important. This is something that helps to benefit our community. There's a positive impact on student morale as well as brand image of the university itself. And as I explained earlier, there are numerous financial benefits to this as well, especially going forward, potentially seeking out some of those entrepreneurial investments, trying to see what we can do to improve not only our campus, but our community. So some key takeaways that I want you guys to learn from today's presentation is that sustainability is not a want. It is a need. Increasing confidence in recycling is critical in order to increase the amount of people willing and happy to participate. We have developed strategies to overcoming challenges and maximizing the program effectiveness, which is helping to pave the way for the future of this program. Recycling is not simply about waste management. It's about building a sustainable future for our campus and for beyond. And thank you guys all so much.
Thank you, Tegan. That was great. Next up is a student of my own, Blake Adams, and I'd just like to say a couple of words about that. Blake took a whole bunch of classes with me here at Northwood University, and he's gotten a nice insight into my own relationship with research. I teach history here, and this kind of comes down to the way you want to learn about the past. You can learn about the past from someone telling you about the past, or I think it's really important for especially students here at Northwood to go do some hands-on research, go look at what the past left behind and formulate your own ideas about it. This develops not only critical thinking skills, I mean, these are skills that you'll use in the job market going forward, but I think it also develops a confidence in your own ability to reach conclusions, and it gives you a little bit more responsibility over your own knowledge. Blake Adams certainly took responsibility for his own knowledge, and he's done some really cool work in some of my classes over his time here at Northwood. The particular research paper he's going to explore with this presentation here came from my History 4020 class, Science and Technology in the Modern World. And I basically ask students to pick a technology and pick a group of people and then go find some primary research to explore it with. And Blake did some really cool stuff. I don't want to spoil his story, so I'm going to turn things over to Blake Adams so he can tell us about farmers and the Model T. So please join me in welcoming Blake Adams.
Good afternoon. As Dr. Mueller said, my name is Blake Adams, and today I'm going to be talking about the connection between farmers and the Ford Model T. So really, what's this all about? Where am I coming from with this presentation? This presentation is from our midterm paper for Dr. Mueller's Contemporary Global Issues class, where we were to pick a technology from the early 1900s and explore its impact on a certain group of people. And what was unique about this assignment is we were to do it through using primary sources, things like newspaper clippings, advertisement photos, sources that originated from that time period, and that to use our critical thinking skills to really determine what was going on during that time period. It wasn't necessarily a paper citing a bunch of statistical information, but really trying to put ourselves in the feet of historians and the minds of historians and figure out what was going on with this connection. As far as for why I chose the Model T for my choice of technology, I thought it would be cool because Northwood is widely considered to be an automotive school by many. So by choosing the Model T and making that connection there. As far as the choice for farmers, why I would choose farmers, I did it because I have a personal appreciation for farming. When you go back generations on both sides of my family tree, you'll see that both sides were farmers, but also from a historical perspective, because there's an unexplored connection to the Model T. Because when you think of the Model T, you think of pictures like this. People hustling and bustling throughout the cities, trying to weave their way in between Model Ts. Model Ts driving down freshly paved streets that were just paved for the Model T. You also think of Model Ts, like in the bottom left picture, widely parked next to each other. But you don't think about the Model T's connection to the farmer. You don't think about how is this helping a farmer in his daily life. So the way that it gives historians a good area to research and really figure out, is there a connection here or is there not? And the way that I approached this was I approached it looking really through two lenses, trying to analyze the farmer's relationship to the Model T through work processes, asking questions like, why would a farmer buy a Model T as a farmer? How is it going to help him on the farm? But also, why would a farmer buy the Model T as a person? How is the Model T going to help him improve his social quality of life and his family's? So really just that first aspect, those work processes. Why would a farmer buy it as a farmer? I want to focus with the productivity and efficiency improvements of the Model T. Because at this point in history, it's important to remember that horsepower meant literal horses. There weren't tractors on the majority of farms at this point. Horses did the majority of the work. They did the pulling of the implements. And as these implements become industrialized, they're going to get larger. They're going to get heavier. And you're going to need a power source. John Deere's steel plow, for example, think of it, pulls right behind a horse. It's going to become a multi-row unit, and it's going to get a lot heavier. So you're going to have a little bit of a power issue. So how can we solve that? We can bring in the Model T combined with a farm horse modification kit. J.E. Price was a farm horse modification kit from Yorkville, Illinois. And this is his advertisement to the left of why you should buy a farm horse modification kit. It's a really practical advertisement, and it points out some very practical reasons why you should buy one. So one being it's more powerful compared to horses. You're going to be able to pull those heavier implements that are products of industrialization. Even simple things like headlights. You're going to be able to work at night, right? You're not riding a horse carrying a lantern on one hand and the reins in the other. You're going to be able to work faster. You're going to be able to work safer. Reason number 4, I just want to read verbatim. Not only is the original cost small, but the cost of running is way less than horse feed. They don't eat when not in use. They don't get tired. Flies don't bother them. In hot harvest, they're not going to drop dead. They're not going to drop in the harness. So he's really calling attention to, he's really making a comparison between the inherent limitations of an organism versus a mechanized piece of equipment, really pointing out why a farmer should upgrade to a Model T. It's clear that equipment manufacturers had a vision for the Model T being applicable to farmers and how the Model T with a farm horse modification kit could help the farmer. In another way, the productivity and efficiency was increased was through the time savings created by the standardization and interchangeability of parts. Because you see, the parts on the Model T are universal. If we just look to this graphic at the left, we can see the same grills, the same headlights, the same tires. These parts are plug and play, meaning that you can easily swap them out between vehicles without much hassle. This is going to make it easier for the farmer to obtain parts because he's not having to search for a single column among 20 different steering columns. He's searching for one steering column that's used among all Model Ts. It's going to create a sense of self-empowerment for the farmer as well, because with this less specialization, he's not having to bring a manufacturer-specific mechanic out to his farm to do the work for him. He's going to be able to do it himself. He's not going to have to rely on people from the city and make trips to the city to go get the parts and equipment that he's going to need. He's going to be able to handle it himself because this is a simple machine. It's a decreased reliance on experts overall. As far as the comfort and longevity of the farmer, that's going to be improved as well. If we just look at this photo, for example, he looks pretty relaxed to me. He's got his shoulders slouched, one hand on the steering wheel, cruising along with a McCormick Deering header. He's enjoying the amenities of a frame suspension and a padded seat. He's not having to expend energy to control horses, or multiple horses for that matter. He's not having to deal with them kicking, not having to deal with steering the reins, walking behind them and getting dirty. He also doesn't have to hook them up every morning and unhook them at the end of the day, which is a very, very timely and somewhat dangerous process. Another important consideration regarding horses at this time is that the prices of horses have skyrocketed because World War I is going on right now. Allied generals are coming over to the U.S. and buying up our horses, causing the price of horses to go up. So there's going to be a smaller perceived savings in buying a single horse versus a Model T. The Model T also provides a middle ground alternative to a very specialized tractor at this time, where you might have a horse on one end of the spectrum, which is now more expensive, and the super specialized tractor on the other end. But the Model T provides a more suitable alternative and a good middle point for the average farmer. So just to recap the productivity and efficiency aspects, it's going to increase productivity. You're going to be able to haul those, be able to use those heavier pieces of equipment. It's going to increase efficiency for the farmer. He's going to be able to go through the fields quicker, work later at night, work safer. The longevity of the farmer, the physical longevity is going to be improved because he's not getting beat up by horses all day. He's enjoying that frame suspension and padded seat. Also the time savings created because he's going to be able to make the repairs himself and not have to rely so much on external people. But what about life outside the farm? How is the Model T going to help the farmer in that aspect? One thing to remember right now is that the transportation revolution is going on, and getting from point A to point B is changing nationwide. Trolley systems are being built in cities, railroads are being built connecting cities to cities. But it's important to understand that these systems aren't necessarily being built right next to the farmer's remote farm. There's not going to be a train station built at the end of his driveway. So it really creates a potential for disconnect for the farmer. How are we going to make sure that farmers aren't left in the dust as the rest of the country continues to evolve transportation-wise? One example that we see the Model T improve this aspect is at this photo right here from the Haymarket in Louisville, Kentucky in 1923. Because if we just look at this photo, you can see all the different models of the Model T using the same parts. And you can also see that it really captures the transformational period of transportation. As you can still see, many are still using horses. But what the Model T does for connectivity is it's going to allow the farmer to access previously unobtainable markets. He's going to be able to attend multiple markets that are 50 miles apart during the same day because he's not having to deal with those inherent limitations like horse fatigue. Just gas it up with fuel and go. The Model T is going to allow the farmer to plug into larger urban markets as well. At these urban markets, he's going to be able to command better prices for his goods and have more choices of who he wants to sell to versus maybe a single buyer in his small town. He's really going to make some connections as well. And we know how important connectivity is in today's world. But even back then, he's going to be able to learn about what are other farmers doing, maybe farmers he's never been able to talk to before, such as, what are improved crop production processes. It's also really important, these connectivity events, because there's no radios for farmers at this time. There is no farm show that you can turn on the radio in the morning and listen to. Knowledge travels by word of mouth for the farmers. And even by 1930, only 10% of farmers had electricity, so there is no radio for them. But even outside of anything related to farm, strictly socially, what's it going to do for the farm family? It's going to give the farm family better access to amenities. If you had a kid that got sick, for example, and you went to take him to your local town doctor, who's also your optometrist, who's also your hearing doctor, who's also your dentist, you're not going to get as good or as specialized care as you would if you went to the city, which you now can get there quicker using the Model T. You're going to have better options in the city, better medicines, better doctors that are going to help your quality of life. The same thought process applies to social activities for farm families as well. If you have schools for the children that were previously unreachable in the mornings because you can only wake up so early, you're going to be able to get your kids there now. You can get them there safer as well. Other evening activities as well. Activities that may have occurred too late in the day are now going to be more easier for farm families to attend. Because overall, it's going to create whole new social circles for farm families, and the geographical radius that farm families are going to be able to interact in is going to increase overall. So just to wrap it up, historical narratives focus on the Model T in urban life, as we saw in the photos, not so much on farmers. They also focus on the industrial manufacturing processes popularized by the Model T, as I'm sure we've all heard of assembly lines. We know that products of industrialization are often one-dimensional. A hammer might increase productivity. A stoplight increases safety. But the way that the Model T affects the farmer in multiple ways, physically, socially, production-wise, business-wise, is what makes it so special. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Blake. That was great. Introducing our next group is Marketing Professor Jennifer McDermott.
Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Jennifer McDermott, and I am the Assistant Professor of Marketing Communications here at Northwood. I'm going to tell you a little bit about a competition that we used this year for our capstone project for the Marketing Communication program. The National Student Advertising Competition, or NSAC, is the premier college advertising competition held by the American Advertising Federation. The competition challenges more than 2,000 college students to develop a strategic marketing communication plan for a corporate client. Northwood University has been competing in NSAC for several years, and I became the faculty advisor for Northwood's student chapter of AAF about 4 years ago. For most of our history, we've run this as a club. However, we started to see declining participation, most of it being held in the spring. We have a lot of students in sports, other competing student priorities. So last year, we decided to incorporate this challenge into the senior capstone class for the marketing communication program. We did this because we wanted to ensure that all Marcom students could benefit from this experience in a little bit more of a structured environment. As mentioned before, the competition is made possible by a corporate client sponsor who agrees to provide a business case and scenario for the challenge, as well as meet virtually twice in the year to answer questions and provide additional information to those schools that are competing. Some of our past corporate sponsors have been Ocean Spray, Tinder, MetaQuest, and Indeed. This year, Tide, one of the biggest companies that we've had as a corporate sponsor, agreed to be the corporate sponsor and challenged students to develop a marketing communication plan to target 18 to 35-year-olds. They wanted them to promote cold water washing as the primary goal, but also Tide products as a secondary goal. Teams were given a $50 to $75 million budget and the opportunity to conduct primary and secondary research to fuel their ideas and their strategy. So starting last fall, this has been going on all year, students from the Marketing Communications program conducted research as part of the market research course run by Dr. Alicia Beckrow. Once they entered the spring capstone course with me, they were ready to apply that research and develop a creative strategy, a tactical plan, and a budget. The plan, along with all creative assets for the campaign, was due at the end of March, and last week, a small group of students, we were only allowed 4, presented the plan to a judges panel in South Bend, Indiana. This panel included representatives from Tide as well as representatives from some of the top creative agencies in the country. 11 students participated in this process, which was no easy feat given the amount of research and creative work that needed to be completed in such a short period of time. So I think they're all here tonight. I would like to acknowledge them. You're going to see our 4 student presenters, but please stand for those who participated in this, and I'd like to thank them for their participation. They're not standing. They don't want to stand. Thank you. So that's a lot of context, I know, but it's kind of a different type of presentation you're going to see tonight because it's really a pitch. It's a little bit condensed for tonight, but what you're seeing is a condensed version of the same presentation that was delivered at district competition last year. Although we didn't place this year, and they were very disappointed, but I am very proud of their efforts, and the judges loved us. And as someone who spent many years pitching to clients and not always winning the account, I am still confident that this is a valuable learning experience for them, and it's going to benefit them tremendously in their career journeys. So they're going to introduce themselves, but I'm happy to introduce Team Tide.
Picture this. You're standing in front of your laundry machine, staring at a mountain of clothes waiting to be washed. That's a familiar scene, isn't it? But what if I told you that amongst this chaos lies a secret solution that not only saves you time and money, but is beneficial for the environment? The only problem is that there is limited awareness in these benefits and the savings when it comes to cold water washing. We aim to inform millennials and Generation Z about these benefits while encouraging them to adopt such practices. Introducing #ColdFacts, where you can cool down with Tide. Hi, I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Vanessa.
I'm Emily.
My name is Mike. Our generation has been faced with the incredibly hard challenge of deciphering what's true and what's fake in our daily lives. Fake news, misinformation, and nowadays AI generations has made this task even more difficult than it already was. For example, look at this news article. Now look at this image. These look pretty real, don't they? Shocking reality is these were both generated by AI. This has led to trends of cynicism and paranoia among our target audience and ultimately a lack of trust in businesses. This is where Tide comes in as the perfect antithesis, though. They have built themselves as the perfect trust and quality brands to get you through in a pinch. That's why this hashtag Cult Facts campaign is the right messaging and tone for a skeptical but forward-thinking audience.
Our primary research consisted of both a survey and a focus group. Let's start by discussing the survey portion first. In our study, we conducted a survey dialing in on sustainable laundry habits among students. The questions were crafted to assess students' awareness and implementation of sustainable practices with limited reference to specific brands like Tide to ensure impartiality. The survey was distributed through the university's daily newsletter as well as social media platforms, and responses were collected electronically using an online survey tool. Now, let's dive into some intriguing findings. Our research revealed that a significant majority, approximately 72% of respondents, expressed a preference toward Tide detergent. Additionally, we discovered that a notable portion of students, approximately 67% of respondents, choose to do their laundry on campus as opposed to other locations. Our investigation uncovered a compelling trend, a willingness among Gen Z and millennials to embrace sustainable living, even if that means paying a premium. This highlights the growing importance of sustainability among today's youth. In addition to the survey, a focus group study was conducted to dive deeper into students' laundry habits and perceptions. Through open-ended discussions, we collected qualitative data related to laundry practices and brand perceptions. Participants for the focus group were selected from our pool of survey respondents, ensuring a diverse representation of the student population. One striking finding from our focus group discussions was the reoccurrence of negative emotions towards doing laundry. Our findings also suggested a prevalent lack of education and/or distrust towards the laundry process. This shows the need for increased initiatives to address misconceptions and build trust. Our target market respects authenticity and consistent messaging. In our secondary market research, we found that our target market truly appreciates transparent storytelling. This is why our advertisements are filled with truth and are consistent across all platforms and channels. By keeping messaging consistent, we found that Generation Z becomes 37% more brand loyal, and millennials become 50.5% more brand loyal. When Tide establishes trust between its advertising and its target market, we found an increase in brand loyalty. Just like you and I, Generation Z and millennials both appreciate cost savings whenever possible. They also appreciate user-friendliness and convenience. Maybe we aren't so different after all.
Based on the research we provided, we were able to create 3 market segments to separate this broad audience aligned for the right messaging and tone. Now it's time to meet our furry friends, Market Segments Unleashed.
Hi everyone, I'm the Spontaneous Seal. I'm 20 years old and nearly halfway through college. Us spontaneous seals are early to adulthood, yet very social and, you guessed it, spontaneous. I just learned how to do my laundry when I got to college, and I'd be lying if I said I haven't flooded the laundry room from time to time. I'm just way too busy to learn the ins and outs of the laundry process. I'm trying my best, and if you want to help me out, you can find me on the most up-and-coming platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I'm the four-sided fox. I'm nearly 23 years old. Most people my age are high school graduates, college students, or early career individuals. Us four-sided fox are busy and eager for growth. However, because we are so busy and focused on what's next, I lose sight of what really matters, doing my laundry. Send me a message or remind me to do my laundry on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And last but not least, I'm the Peppy Penguin. I am 30 years old and I just started a family. My income is around $70,000 and I pride myself on being financially educated, wise, and family-oriented. Because I have a family, it takes us such a long time to get through our laundry. By the time we finish up, there's always another round waiting for us. However, you can find me asking for advice and scrolling for tips on Facebook, Reddit, LinkedIn, and YouTube. As you can see, this is a very diverse audience with very different needs and media usage. For this reason, we've planned several tactics to reach each segment individually with the opportunity for crossover. This allows us to produce a campaign that cuts through the cold stereotypes, all linking directly back to our microsite, but we'll touch on that later.
The cold plunge will be able to set up the connection of wellness between cold water for our bodies as well as our clothing. This will be very similar to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge a couple years ago, but with a slight twist. This will take place in major universities and metro cities around the country, supplemented with a hashtag Cold Facts quiz. This will be a fun, risk-taking event with an educational undertone to bring awareness about the hashtag Cold Facts.
Leveraging on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, Tide will use visually engaging content, educational videos, and interactive challenges to promote the benefits of cold water washing, all while in collaboration with influencers to enhance the reach among our market segments. Now, these market segments know the digital world like the back of their hand. Implementing this type of content on platforms that they use every single day ensures that this plan is put into their backyard.
Who doesn't love a good blog? Tide will publish blogs relevant to the campaign as a strategic tactic to educate, engage, and persuade consumers on the benefits of cold water washing. This is a more organic approach, but will be highly effective as we can integrate SEO into the blog and the blog into the microsite.
I want you to imagine yourself walking down the laundry aisle and you hear something in the distance informing you of sustainable laundry habits. This is nearly what our point of sale tactic would encompass. An aisle full of floor claims, 14-inch screens, and a QR code linking directly back to our microsite to tap into a network of environmentally aware individuals.
We will have standard and digital billboards to showcase some of our hashtag Cold Fact gifts. The standard billboard will just be a still of one of the gifts with the Tide logo on the bottom left, and the digital billboard will let the gift play all the way through.
Having Tide products sent straight to my door sounds ideal to me. Our first subscription service emphasizes eco-friendliness and convenience. Our second subscription service is personalized laundry essentials tailored directly to your needs. Connecting all three of our market segments, Tide will sponsor podcast episodes related to sustainability, household tips, or fashion care to seamlessly integrate the benefits of cold water washing. With the rising popularity of podcasts, leveraging on this platform is essential for reaching our target audience effectively. By partnering with specific podcasts that align with our brand's values and the interests of our consumers, we can maximize on engagement and foster meaningful connections with our audience.
Digital banner ads will be a nice complement to the campaign as a whole, showcasing some more of our hashtag Cold Fact gifts throughout various websites, like grocery store websites, blogs, and Google. Using cookies and geo-targeting, we will follow individuals who visit our microsite using cookies and geo-target individuals who are within a reasonable distance of a cold plunge event.
Cold Water Saves is a nonprofit organization dedicated to informing the public of the positive benefits of cold water washing. We have chosen to partner with this organization by backlinking to each other's websites and partnering at events because it aligns directly with Tide's cold water washing brand image.
Search engine marketing, or SEM, will be an essential tactic as it allows for paid advertising on search engines like Google. This will not only increase Tide's visibility on search engine landing pages, but it'll also allow Tide to strategically bid on relevant keywords through the pay-per-click model.
A perfect campaign is not complete without a TV commercial. Tide can create a TV commercial to showcase the benefits of cold water washing by demonstrating clothes washed in warm water versus clothes washed in warm water in the top TV shows in the top 20 DMAs.
Part of Tide's problem is a lack of education in the laundry process. In fact, 60% of all incoming college freshmen have limited laundry experience. This is why we are implementing Tide into college admissions. Tide brand ambassadors will guide freshman orientations and provide free laundry gift baskets containing Tide products, Tide branded school supplies, and a cold water washing guide.
Professional sports is a major pastime of America and has a large women pool. Because of this, most of the population has played at least one sport in their lifetime. This is called for dirty and sweaty laundry to be cleaned with the #1 detergent on the market, and is a #1 reason why Tide should be advertising during sporting events. Hockey, snowboarding, and skiing events will be a major focus, with cold sports as a whole being an undertone of the hashtag Cold Facts.
Imagine an online universe for Tide's Cold Facts campaign. Well, look no further. Tide's microsite centralizes campaign content and serves as a hub for Tide, featuring engaging graphics, interactive demos, educational blogs, and social media integration to drive brand adoption of cold water washing. That's right, all tactics previously mentioned will be, no pun intended, tied back to Tide's microsite.
We've developed an integrated marketing communications plan where some of our tactics reach our market segments as a whole and other tactics reach our market segments individually. Our tactics deliver the hashtag #HoldFacts, but would not be possible without a schedule that kicks off these tactics at viable times.
This is our media schedule for the campaign. Because of how digital our target audience is, we went heavy into podcasts, social media, and just event sponsorships as a whole to really drive home all of the impressions that we can get throughout the year. Because of our budget being at a max of 75, we spent just under $71 million, and this will reach around 500 million impressions as a campaign.
For this campaign, we've developed 5 campaign objectives. The first is to generate 1.5 million impressions during our year-long campaign. Second is to gain 200,000 participants in the Cold Plunge Challenge within the first 4 months. Third is to partner with 30 colleges nationwide to deliver college admissions baskets. Fourth is to receive 5,000 subscription box signups within the first 6 months. Lastly is to achieve 1 million visits to our microsite within the first year.
We've delivered a campaign that washes away the false advertisements and misconceptions when it comes to washing with cold water. Consumers are turning the knob, all thanks to the combined impact of hashtag #HoldFacts. People are learning to no longer be afraid to ask for help when it comes to doing their laundry. By addressing the unspoken chore of caring for our clothes, Tide ensures that stains aren't the only thing getting cleaner, as guilt washes away too, leaving our listeners with a fresh perspective on Laundry Day. Our campaign drives growth in sales, raises visibility for the world's leading laundry detergent company, and most importantly, it changes the way people do their laundry. The only question left is, will you turn the knob and cool down with Tide? Thank you.
Yeah, nice job, folks. That was great. Okay, up next to introduce his group of students is Professor Alex Tokarev. So welcome, Alex Tokarev.
2 weeks ago, a Northwood team participated for the first time in the PPE League. The students, Connor, who's presenting today, John, and Noel did research on the future of money. In addition to that, our students did research for the McNair Center, the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, and John Stossel. And if you are on X, formerly Twitter, you may have noticed that Elon Musk reposted a video where John Stossel interviews a Northwood student. William, Lucas, and Bravik will present 3 of the 18 topics researched by Northwood students in our Economics of Public Policies course this semester. These are the topics. 1, when most governors, like ours, shut down their states 4 years ago, Congress passed more than $2 trillion in deficit spending to keep the economy afloat. How big is the US debt? How did we end up here? Can we solve the problem? The second topic, should we be concerned about America's trade deficits? Who benefits and who suffers from protectionist policies? And finally, for decades, we've been told that recycling helps the earth. But does it really? Let's find out.
Hello, everyone. My name is William Bismack, and I hope you guys are all having a great day today, and hopefully it stays that way after I talk about our next topic, which is the U.S. debt. It's not something that everybody likes to talk about, but it is an important topic nonetheless. In politics especially, recently it has been a major point of contention. Currently, the U.S. debt is quickly approaching $35 trillion, and a lot of us really could care less, because that's just a huge number that's almost unimaginable. But by a show of hands, who has a job in here? Pretty much everybody, right? And I assume you pay taxes unless the IRS is going to be coming after you. So, and that means that you owe more than $250,000 already towards the national debt, and it's expected to be twice as high by the time you're ready for retirement. And in the past, the largest increases from government spending that aided to the national debt was through emergency programs for things like the Great Depression and World Wars. But the most recent sizable increase was during the recent 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, where a large deficit was created and Congress allocated trillions of dollars to be dispersed to people, jobs that were destroyed by being closed or by losing their jobs. And much of that stimulus for people who lost their jobs went to people who didn't. For example, our professor, Mr. Alex Tokarev, he was still teaching here while he was receiving stimulus checks for people who were supposedly in need. And the problem is only going to get much worse in the next few decades with our aging population. And we have a lower birth rate as well, and that's going to contribute to Medicaid and Medicare going up even further. And this was due to the Obamacare administration setting a low bar on where we can spend for insurance and healthcare. And when you set a bar to anything, that means you either have to go under or below. And our government spends most of our money nowadays on taxes, or most of our taxes on essential things like national defense and law enforcement, you would think. But most of that money is coming towards Social Security, and it is a large deficit that is only building because of our aging population. To solve this problem, we should raise our Social Security age, like many other countries like France has done. With people becoming older, there's a larger amount of people receiving these benefits. And it was originally set to 65 because of our life expectancy, and our life expectancy has drastically increased by 10 to 20 years. And so we should subsidize healthcare only for poor retirees, those who will actually need it. And finally, privatizing old age programs as they did in Sweden. So we no longer need these sweeping programs. Will this ever happen? Perhaps. But our hope is, as Americans, that we become more educated on these topics in places like Northwood. Only then we will be able to demand voters to follow the constitutional amendments that prevent politicians from running into these deficits. Thank you.
My name is Connor Loria, and I'm a freshman here at Northwood University. I do not have a presentation as I was just finished up this research. So this past month, two other students and I, John and Noel, attended the 2024 Politics, Philosophy, and Economics League competition at Ottawa University in Kansas. We were asked to evaluate the proposal to replace the paper dollar and our coins with a virtual currency. All the contestants had to do it from a classical, liberal perspective, listing all the potential pros and cons of going cashless. This essay written by my teammates and I summarizes our findings. The advantages. Digital currencies are more convenient than cash for both the buyers and the sellers. You do not need to go to an ATM and withdraw your dollars before you shop at a grocery store. Nowadays, you can just tap your debit card or tap your phone. The retailer does not need to waste time at the end of the day by taking a bag of cash to the local bank. It is more a convenient way to keep his financial records, both for the sake of running his businesses more efficiently and for tax purposes. Another advantage, digital currencies provide safety. If someone picks your pocket, the chance of you tracking and recovering your dollar is next to zero. In contrast, your smartphone is password protected, while companies that issue debit cards and run apps offer theft protection. Thus, you don't lose a penny if someone runs away with your purse. And if you own a cashless gas station, a robber may take some liquor and some cigarettes, but not your daily sales receipts. Finally, digital currencies will make it harder for terrorists and other criminals to hide their activities from the local and international law enforcement agencies. Without the ability to move suitcases and containers filled with hundreds of dollar bills, the bad hombres will be leaving a traceable digital footprint for the FBI, DEA, ATF, CIA, NSA, DHS, and Interpol, and countless others to prevent bomb threats, fentanyl smuggling, and human trafficking. Along with the advantages come the pitfalls. A cashless economy would present a huge problem for millions of old people who are not tech savvy. Millions more of our poor citizens, who currently pay cash for a third of all their expenses, may be excluded from the formal economy because they do not have bank accounts. This is the reason why some politicians in major metropolitan areas, where a sizable portion of the residents are unbanked, having passed laws that force businesses to accept cash and only cash. Going cashless may increase the cost for the consumers, and that would hurt the poor the most. Credit card companies, for example, often charge fees between 1% and 3% for every transaction. In just 1 year alone, 2021, Visa and MasterCard earned $138 million in this way. Stores pass such costs onto their customers, even the poor who pay cash. It's like adding a national consumption tax without an act of Congress, casting doubts on its constitutionality. Letting our public servants trace all payments with the intent to decrease crime in a cashless society can also become a weapon to intimidate and crush the opposition. It violates the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, which reminds the federal institutions of their duty to protect our privacy. In 2023, at the Northwood University Freedom Seminar, the GMU law professor Zwicky warned of the danger of placing cash with a government digital currency. In conclusion, paper dollars may be going the way of gold and silver coins that join the dodo in the gallery of extinction. 2 out of 5 Americans no longer use cash, and on the global level, almost 90% of payments in Swedish stores are cashless. From a classical liberal perspective, aka the Northwood idea, the question is not so much cash or digital. The important issue is the preservation of our individual right to choose with whom we trade, at what terms, and how we pay for it. Money is not a product of human design. It served man's needs long before the first alphabet was used to even record financial transactions in Mesopotamia. Money came as a result of a voluntary human interaction, long before the rise of the first civilization. People were already using salt as currency when they established the first government and wrote the first political law. And honestly, it would be best if we kept the government away from determining the future of our money. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just get going. Good evening, everyone. I'm Luke Kalovitz, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about trade deficits. Don't get excited all at once. I know it's a real interesting topic. I thought the same thing when I walked into my Monday 9 a.m. and Professor Tokarev was excited to tell me about trade deficits. But the more I listened and the more I paid attention, it's actually a pretty interesting issue with some big implications to us as consumers. So for anybody that doesn't know, my slide's not up there. There it is. So trade deficits occur when the market value of a country's imports exceed that of its exports. Someone that subscribes to protectionist public policy views would think that this is a bad thing. However, the United States has run a trade deficit for the last 50 years, as you can see up on the graph on the right, and we're the biggest and best economy in the world. So how can that be true? Unions and politicians would also argue that such deficits lead to job loss. However, the biggest creators of jobs in America are those companies that choose to outsource their products and some of their supply chain things. Like innovation, free trade is something that will destroy jobs only to replace them with more and better jobs. When the government picks winners and losers by restricting trade, instead of letting us decide how to spend our money, corporations and workers will obviously lobby for less competition. That's going to protect themselves and make it a bit safer for them to do their business and turn a profit. However, such tariffs and quotas will hurt the economy and raise prices for us, the consumers. So while these restrictions on imports may save temporarily a few farm, steel, or auto jobs, they don't see that they will also cause job loss in the export industries. Foreigners pay for our exports with their exports to us. So our trade restrictions will lower their ability to buy goods that are made in America. That also means that our trade deficits allow us to enjoy the fruits of foreign labor. Now, that doesn't mean that we should just recklessly consume abroad. That means that the dollars we send abroad will come back to our economy as foreign investment and help us grow. In conclusion, protectionist policies aimed at mitigating trade deficits and reducing imports can have large negative effects on the global economy as well as our domestic, and as well as disrupt our domestic industries and supply chains. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Brevik Teft, and in collaboration with several others from my class, mainly Kate, Alexa, Brittany, Brooke, Haley, Zach, Isaac, Sydney, and TJ, we were given the prompt, does recycling actually help the earth? Now, getting into it, since kindergarten, we're told that we need to protect our planet by recycling. Take back what you use, have it go through a process, and so someone else can use it as well, so it doesn't go and sit there for years and years. It allows valuable materials to be used over and over instead of sending our scarce resources to landfills. Recycling also creates jobs, so certainly it must be good for the economy, right? But wait a minute, even as freshmen at Northwood, we're taught to think like economists rather than idealists. We want to analyze the markets and the actual effect public policies have rather than what their intended effects are. Every choice is costly. If something generates benefits above the costs, the profit will attract private entrepreneurs to do it rather than the government themselves. Most people do things because they feel good. Economics 4010 teaches us to act only when we know we can do good. The relevant question is, does recycling paper or plastic generate profits, or is it mainly subsidized by the taxpayers, us? At a spring soup and substance event, the speaker talked about their local recycling program, admitting that without external funds, it would generate losses. Subsidies mean increased taxes or fine for residents and producers that do not comply, which just eases the burden off of the programs onto us as the taxpayers. You can see up here, there's a quote from the New York Times. The recycling is an industry that uses increasingly expensive labor to produce materials that are worth less and less. Basically, the more often it goes through recycling, the less overall value it has. But at the same time, labor costs go up year by year, so we're spending more to get less back. It results in the net loss of American jobs overall because we are spending more to have less. Recycling aluminum saves energy, but many of the recyclables you place in special containers are not actually recycled. 95% of the plastics you separate from your garbage will actually end up in your local landfill regardless. They won't go where you think they are. Even Greenpeace calls it a dead-end street. We are told that recycling paper saves trees. Well, that may be true if we were chopping down giant rainforests every other day to make textbooks, like the Amazon. In America, using more paper actually creates incentives for landowners to plant more trees because entrepreneurs will always find a way to make a profit. If they see that they can make more money by placing more trees, they're gonna do so. And so if you want a greener planet, don't recycle paper. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Mark Lund. I'm the Assistant Provost and Director of Institutional Research. And I just wanted to start by thanking all of our presenters tonight or this afternoon. You all did an amazing job. I learned so much from each of you. I appreciate you, all of the efforts you put into your projects. They were really, it's clear to me that they were really your passion at work. So thank you. So we can all just give a round of applause to them. And with that, I want to just plug real quickly what we call the Freedom Project at Northwood University, which is an extension of the type of work that you saw showcased today. The Freedom Project is designed to be a multi-phase experiential learning project that you can do for credit. If you want to learn more, I'll give you a quick outline right now, but I put a link up there if you want to learn more or even contact somebody for more information or even sign up. but the project is designed to, you can earn up to 3 credits for your Freedom Project. Very similar to many of the things we saw today. If you want to expand them further, students have that option. So for example, it could be something that you see an opportunity for something to develop on campus, or an opportunity to do something on campus. It could be something in the community. It could be with a small business or a corporation. It could be something that was started in an internship and you saw an opportunity for a more substantial project beyond the internship. The opportunities are endless. It's designed to be very broad. You would work closely with a faculty member to flesh out the project itself, and then it would ultimately culminate in kind of a showcase where you describe your research and your findings. And so the various phases are three basic phases. The first phase would be to initiate and plan. So you put together, you develop your desired outcomes or your research questions, and then that would end with a pitch where you pitch to a committee of faculty to start the project. Phase 2 would be to execute. You would execute your project, whatever shape it takes. And then the final phase would be something very similar to what we had tonight, which would be to showcase and disseminate the findings of your project. So if that's something you're interested, please either talk to me following this, or you can learn more using that QR code on the screen there. And I'm excited to say that we have currently, looking around at Clayton, are you here tonight? Clayton, there you are. So Clayton is completing his Freedom Project, and he'll be presenting in 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks. So if you're interested and still on campus on the Friday after finals week, please attend his presentation. He did his Freedom Project on blockchain technology, or well, crypto technology and blockchain. And he has a lot of fascinating things to share, and so I'm excited for that. So thank you all. I'll hand it back over to Dr. Dale Moeller.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks to everyone, including our audience, our student presenters, everyone online. I especially want to thank the faculty members who worked really closely with our student presenters. Actually, they probably deserve a round of applause on their own. It takes a lot of support and guidance and encouragement to get students up on a stage like this, and so that's great. There is a reception in the lobby, so feel free to stick around, celebrate with us, and thanks again for coming. We really appreciate it. Have an excellent evening.